important issues of today's world, for which I would like to welcome my fellow union members and our dear volunteers. Today, we have a special guest with us, Mrs. Vandaran Chalia, who is the animal rights activist and is the founder and director of Kanal Animal Welfare. She focuses on critically injured canine children. Not only she is the compassionate animal activist, but she is also the finalist of Mrs. World 2020-21 and the winner of Social Leader of 2018. A heartiest welcome to you, ma'am. We
Thank you.
would be overwhelmed if you could enlighten us with your beautiful words. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, guys, for inviting me. I think I like it the most when I'm interacting with young people like you, because when I was young, I didn't have all this opportunity. Nobody told me about animal welfare, and I feel
Yeah.
extremely happy that people like you want to talk about it. It makes me feel extremely happy and proud. So thank you again for inviting me. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Yes, ma'am. Okay, so
Okay, and
before starting the event, I would like to request all the volunteers to keep their videos on and audios on mute. It is going to be an interactive session, so your active participation would be highly appreciated. Now, ma'am, to begin with the questionnaire, my first question is about your Kanan Animal Welfare Organization. So,
yeah.
how did you start your journey? Please tell us how do you how please tell us that how do you run your programs and everything about the organization. Yeah.
So I was no different than any other animal lover rescuer. There's no fairy tale after how I started. It was just one of the days I saw one of my neighbors beating a dog very badly, and that kind of shook me to a point that I just could not imagine that why would anybody do that to an animal who is helpless, who is already sick. And she was not even doing anything to him. She was just very sick. And that guy thought that probably because she's so sick, she had some sort of skin infection. And he thought that she's going to give it to everyone else in the society. And he started hitting her to a point wherein he picked up a big rock and he wanted to smash her head. And I was almost I just didn't know what to do, and I told my mother that I'm going to complain about this guy. And I mean, this guy is a criminal. I mean, he cannot possibly be normal and try and kill a living
Hmm.
thing. It could be an animal, it could be a human being. It is a dog today, and tomorrow it could be you and me. If he goes mad, he can kill any of us. And that's when I kind of called a shelter, and they admitted the dog, but the dog died within few days. There was some issue with the dog, they said, and she passed away. And once you start rescuing, it's almost like a cycle. You do it once, and then you suddenly start seeing sick and injured animals around you, and then you start picking them up, and that's exactly what happened with me. But the only challenge that I was facing personally was that every time I took a dog to a shelter, it would, like, 37 of the dogs that I rescued died in different shelters in 2015, 14 and 15, between 14 and 15. And I was extremely heartbroken because those dogs were not so critical. Like, they could have been saved. And that's where I understood that, India has a lot of shelters. We have a lot of genuine people working for it, but the problem is quality care. The problem is that animals do not receive the kind of quality care that a human will receive. Like, if there is a severe injury, no NGO would want to work on it, just because of the simple reason because it's going to take time, or it will need a lot of money. So nobody wants to invest that kind of time. And that's when I thought that let me just start an organization wherein I can take limited number of animals that I want to rescue. And of course, the rescues that come to call are never mine, they are from the public. But the idea was that I will go and pick up the
Hmm.
dogs, but that never happened. So the idea is obviously to pick up dogs who are in need of critical care. And we have very limited number of rescues that we do in a year, but we ensure that the cases which are denied by other shelter homes just because they are quite bad in nature are accepted by us. So that's how Kanan Animal Welfare came into being.
Oh yeah, that was a very brave step of yours, and I'm sure everybody here is inspired by your initiative.
Brave and crazy,
So
I would say. Brave is one
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
it was crazy, I can tell you that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, my second my second question is about the same thing. If we see an animal in distress or in pain, how can one seek for help, or what is the foremost thing that one should do? Usually, we show empathy for humans more quickly than animals. So, how to go about it? How can we do that instead of panicking? Basically, yeah.
See, it's very natural to panic when you see an
Hmm.
animal in distress. I used to do the same. When I used to see, I hope everybody understands English and Hindi because I may say things in Hindi also in between. So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
used to
sure, ma'am.
see animals in distress and I used to go all crazy कि ये मर जाएगा इसको खून आ रहा है ये something is happening and it's a very normal reaction. This reaction has neutralized after 5 years of doing this. After 5 years of seeing animals in distress, now I'm like, I don't go hyper about it because I have seen it all. But for a new person, it's a very natural reaction to, be in a panic mode ki ye to marne wala hai. But I can easily say it to you today because I've done it. But I will say that just calm down. First, patiently look at the animal, see what kind of injury it is. It could, if it's bleeding or if it's just panting or it's just lifeless, what kind of injury it is. Second would be if you can just get that animal some water. That's a first step. Please don't go and feed any wild animals. I wouldn't suggest you to do that. Just keep 2 dogs and cats which are community animal which you can help on your own. Do not go around नील गाय व्हील गाय को कुछ मत करो because that wouldn't be very safe for you guys. So other than that, look at the animal. If you are somebody who is who knows how to deal with animals, you can probably go and check, touch the animal, try to help it in your own way. But if you feel that you cannot do that, call the nearest NGO, or if you know of any paravet, there are a lot of ambulances, paravet
गूगल मीट है क्या?
Google
ये तो
that you can
Zoom पे तो गूगल मीट पे सुविधा नहीं कि हो जाता है, हो जाता
Guys,
है टर्न ऑफ
guys, please
करके जो
mute
नीचे
yourself.
3 डॉट्स होते हैं उसमें
Guys,
जाके टर्न ऑफ ऑडियो ऑफ
hello,
होता है उसमें.
hello, guys, please mute yourself. Please maintain the decorum, please. Yeah, ma'am, continue. Sorry,
no,
sorry
it
for the disturbance.
happens with me all the time, guys. I do this
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
I start speaking in
yeah.
between. So don't worry.
Yeah,
Uh,
ma'am.
so obviously, and then you can call Paravet. You can, if you are somebody who knows how to handle an animal, the best thing would be to take it to the nearest vet. These are 2, 3 things that you can do if you see an animal in distress.
Okay. Um, so my next question is, why is personal hygiene and sanitization so important for animals? I mean, we definitely know that their sanitization is important for us because they are going to spread germs and everything. But what is so important about themselves that they have to keep them sanitized and hygienic? Yeah.
See, now when you talk about personal hygiene, that is something that you can only maintain with pet dogs. You cannot do that with street dogs, right? Because nobody is going to bathe a street dog. So if you're talking about your pet, of course it is very important. It's just like anybody. It's like humans. When you maintain a personal hygiene, right? Just for the simple reason that you do not want to fall sick. The same with animals. If you don't maintain their hygiene, they will fall sick. They will have skin infections. They may give some infection to other animals, or they may start having, mostly it is the skin infection that would happen if they are not clean, or if the animal has a lot of hair, matting will start. So things like that can happen. So definitely, one, if you have a pet, you must maintain a hygiene and keep them clean. That's 2 things one must do when they have an animal.
Yeah, so it is one of the most common, yet everybody neglects it. So
Yeah,
yeah, we
it's
should keep
not
it in
it's
hand.
I have
My
seen
next,
that people don't even bathe their pet dog.
yeah, it happens all the time. Yeah, so we should definitely look for it. My next question is one of my favorite questions, which is, usually when we adopt any abandoned animal, we see an anxious behavior in them as if are not ready to be accepted yet. In that case, what should we do to make them feel comfortable, just to create a congenial atmosphere around them? Because I have a cat and he's not letting me touch him. It's been 3 years and now he is just letting me pat him a little bit. So how to create that congenial environment, so just to calm them down that everything is okay. Yeah.
Okay. So it's Vanchika. So I will sound a bit mean, but cats are funny characters. Okay, they can still be moody for life. So you do not have to feel
They
bad at
are,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so cats are not like dogs. They can just
Okay.
act bossy all the time throughout the life, and you will not know why. Because I have two cats, and I can tell you that.
Exactly.
So they have abandoned
Exactly.
me
I like.
after coming from Singapore.
I also have two
Yeah, so they do not want to talk to me. They hate me. They used to love me, but now they hate me, and I don't know why.
cats.
So, and it's okay. Cats can behave that way,
Yeah.
so you do not have to feel guilty or bad about that. But jokes apart, see, when you're adopting an abandoned animal, you have to understand that the behavior could be because of anything. We do not know the history of the animal. It could be the the dog or cat may have been uh, abandoned due to health reasons, or it could have been some sort of trauma, or it could have been physical abuse also. People do
Hmm.
bad things to animals, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and you do not know, as a new person you're trying your best, but that may be triggering that behavior that they do not like, or they are not understanding that behavior. So I, for example, I have three dogs, out of which one I picked up. He was probably abandoned. He came with various, behavioral issues. Like some days he would be on our chest and all, hugging me, and some day he'll just growl at me. And that could, and I did not know for years what was wrong with him. But what we did was that we ensured that he's comfortable. Like if he wanted to sit on sofa, we would let him do that. We will not push him or force him to do things that he did not like, because we did not know what was triggering that behavior. So when you are adopting an abandoned animal, you have to be extremely patient. You have to follow a routine with them. You cannot give up. Like if you hug and they do not love you back, you cannot give up thinking that ye to kuch react karta hi nahi hai, or there's
Yeah.
no point of doing it. The behavior comes out, but it just takes a lot of time. So if you maintain a routine, first, I always say that if you're bringing an animal home, take him to a veterinary doctor. Ensure that you're getting a complete checkup done, so that you know that there is no medical issue with the animal to behave in such a way. Once that is clear, then it's just a matter of being patient with that animal, and or a dog or a cat, whoever you're bringing home, maintaining a routine. And you should also be open to the idea of hiring a behaviorist or trainer if you're feeling that the situation is going out of your hand, or you're not able to
Hmm.
understand. So then you need to go for expert help. That's three or four things that you can do.
Yeah, that was a strikingly good point. And to add one more thing to it, is it okay to adopt an old dog which is, 7 to 8 years old? Is it okay for us to adopt it if it is abandoned or something?
I think I'm all go for a old dog, because it's like, you know a mature dog always have set habits. It will not give you surprises. It's
Exactly.
not like puppy. Trust me, people think puppies are, everybody wants to adopt that cute little fluffy puppy. But
Yeah.
सबसे ज़्यादा abandoned puppies ही होते हैं, because people get
Hmm.
very impatient with puppies. Puppies will have teething period. They will pee and poop around. They will do everything. They will
Exactly.
destroy.
Yeah.
It's like having a toddler at home, right? Old
Yeah.
people, our dada dadis, they don't jump around, right? They stay calm. Same as with old dogs. So older dogs are calmer. They have a set behavior. They will have a set routine. The only thing that one needs to keep in mind when adopting an older dog is that they may have health issues, or they may have starting of health issues. So one should be open to that, that okay, the dog may start having difficulties hearing or seeing or walking in some time. So one should have a big heart to accept all of that. Other than that, I think older dogs are fantastic idea at any given point in time compared to,
Yeah.
not that, please do not think that I am saying do not adopt young dogs, but do not adopt old dogs because you have some preconceived notions about them that they are going to be trouble. That's not true. In fact, your life will be easier if you have an older dog.
Yeah. Yeah. People usually go on the appearance that puppies are looking cute, so let's
The
just
same
let
puppy
it
will
be.
grow
Let's
older, and his appearance will
yeah.
change. So that's
Yeah.
going to happen with
Exactly.
you and me also, right? So I do not
Yeah.
think that should be the point of. And as I said, puppies are much more difficult compared to older dogs. Older dogs are easy, trust me. They are
Yeah.
low
That is a very
effort,
good
they are
point.
low
Yeah.
maintenance. They wouldn't be so destructive as a puppy. So yes, older dogs any day.
Now I will. Now I will adapt an older dog. Yeah. Um, my next question is it safe to adopt street dogs, and what steps do we need to take before adopting them? Because they are usually they bite and they are called coyotes, right? If I'm not wrong. So how to go about it and how to adopt them if you in that
Yes,
case.
100%. It is safe to adopt street dogs. But yes, because you're adopting a dog from street, you do not know about the health and medical conditions. So again, the first step is taking it to a vet, ensuring that it does not have any sort of disease which can pass on to you or anybody else in your family, because that can be a very bad experience if you're a first time adopter. Second is ensuring that you are doing all the vaccinations, bathing, everything that needs to be done on time. And training is very important for dogs, as I say. See, what happens is when you adopt a dog from street, it could be a mix of anything. It could be a Labrador Indian dog mix, it could be a German Shepherd, some mix, it could be any mix. So their behavior is very different. So like I have three Indian dogs and Tino ka behavior is different. One is like a cow, one is a devil, one I still cannot figure out what he is. So it's like three dogs are three different. With breed dogs, what happens is typically you can say that, this is a set behavior. Like Labradors, they are fat, they eat, they sleep. That's all they want to do in their life. Out of 100, only one or two dogs will be aggressive or will have some behavior issues because of genetics. But with Indian dogs, you cannot tell that two Indian dogs are going to have same behavior. So generally what happens is it is a mismatch of lifestyle which leads people into abandoning the dog at later stage. For example, you bring a Indian dog home and suddenly you realize the dog is very high energy. It needs a lot of physical exercise or it needs a lot of mental stimulation. And now you are somebody who's going to college, your parents are elderly, they cannot run around with the dog, then it's a clear mismatch, right? You cannot have a pet like that home because it's not getting what it requires. Or you are somebody who has a very high energy life and you have a dog who just wants to sit on sofa and be a couch potato. So with Indian dogs, that's the only few things that you need to work on. And ideally, I would always suggest to be open to having trainer. And if you don't want to spend that kind of money, be open to going to YouTube, learning techniques, teaching your dog initial stages. Jab chota hota hai tabhi you have to start teaching him how to behave, what to do. You cannot do that with cats, so don't feel bad about it. But dogs, yes, you can train them. So all these things are to be kept in mind when you're adopting a animal from street. That's what I did, and I have three, and of course 122 at shelter, and they all fly overseas, so they come with different behavior issues. But everybody overseas also invest their time and money and efforts into training those dogs and making them good family pets. So these are few things. If you do, then definitely you can adopt a dog from the street.
Yeah, yeah, that was a very good point. Actually, I also have a very tragic story where there was a dog, and she gave 5 puppies, out of which 4 of them died because a car smashed his vehicle on it. So because of that trauma, that she was not able to take that trauma, she was barking on every vehicle and every pedestrian that you have killed my pups and everything. So she has a very emotional connection with them. So I think those are the main reasons that they might be going with some kind of a trauma or something, and they're obviously they can't tell us. So that is
Yeah.
one of the reasons that why they bite and they bark on us unnecessarily, because
See,
we are the
I
one
still
who.
do not think that any dog will bite you unprovoked.
Yeah,
You have to
exactly.
understand. It's like an animal. For that animal, that is his or her house. It's just trying to protect its territory. You have to think from the animal's point of view. आपके घर में अगर कोई घुस जाएगा तो you won't be very happy about it, right? You will have a very weird reaction to it. The animal's ways of reacting is not by talking it. They can only bark or they can bite. That's the only two things they can do. But generally, 99% of the animals on street are in fact much more friendlier than pets because they are used to people around them. Because they're used to
Hmm.
coexisting with a lot of crowd. So,
Yeah.
you can go out on street and you call a dog, it will come to you running without any issues because they are used to seeing so many people. So I think adopting a dog from street is a great is a great decision, because those dogs are anyway much more adaptable to our Indian weather or anything compared to fancy breeds. It's only because of our own notions, or we have this belief system ki, we need to have a pedigree dog at home. That's the only, I think, problem we have with us Indians, that we don't, like, I adopted Indian dogs. I had 9 dogs so far, and they are fantastic. I wouldn't, I mean, I do have a breed dog also, but my own dogs, like my husband dog is a breed dog, and he's a great dog. I love him also. But I am still an Indian dog lover forever, because I feel that they have much less trouble adjusting compared to a foreign breed dog.
Oh, so do you have any favorite breed or something? Because I like husky a lot. Husky or
No,
do you
I
have
like
any?
Indian dogs. I think my only, as a kid, when I was growing up, because, growing up, obviously I did not know about desi dogs and all. My only fascination was a Pomeranian. That's all. The white
Oh,
fluffy dog, जो circus में
yeah.
देखते थे हम लोग. So that was my only fascination. But
Hmm.
after that, once I understood, I always had Indian dogs. So I had one Pomeranian because I wanted to have one Pomeranian in my life. But
Hmm.
other than that, I do not think I have a fascination for any breed. In fact, I feel Indian dogs, I find them much more, they have a character, they are different. Like my 3 dogs, they're
Hmm.
different. So I like their character.
Yeah, that was beautiful. My next question is how to take care of animals with special needs or disabilities? Is it okay to medicate dogs or pets without a vet's opinion?
So before I give my opinion, I would really, if somebody is really interested in knowing more about dogs or animals with disabilities, please read our latest blog. It's a very informative blog, and it is much more descriptive in nature compared to what I am going to talk about right now. So special needs and disabilities can be of different types, but I will only limit my what I am going to talk about is generally in India we generally find paralyzed dogs because of a lot of accidents that happens on street, and most of the dogs who come with injury, like a spinal injury or some sort of injury wherein they are not able to walk anymore. So with
Hmm.
paralyzed dogs, or even dogs sometimes can become paralyzed when they are older, when they start losing their ability to walk. So with paralyzed dogs, my major concern is always their bladder and their stomach, because that's one thing that gets affected the most. They may have digestive issues, so one needs to be very careful in terms of monitoring if they are peeing and pooping in time, and ensuring that a lot of disabled dogs drag themselves, so they will have open wounds on their legs, or they may their skin may be exposed to rough surfaces, so one has to bandage them, keep them clean. If they're urinating, then you have to ensure that you're cleaning and it's not wet all the time. So these are few things, and of course, going to vets, timely vet visits to check on them if their internal systems are okay or not. That's couple of things that you can do if you have a paralyzed dog. uh, if you have a deaf dog who is not able to hear, there's nothing much that you can do about it. They don't need anything specifically in terms of medical needs, but one has to just take care of behavioral needs. Like, if they
Hmm.
may be good to you, but since they can't hear, you can't just go and pat a dog like that, or you can't just hug a dog.
Hmm.
He may or she may get very scared. Strangers, if you have people coming home, please ensure that you give them their space and let them sniff and introduce
Hmm.
themselves slowly, and not, it should not be abrupt with deaf dogs. And the third commonly found dogs are blind dogs. So blindness could be because of genetics or could be because of old age. So with blind dogs, if you maintain a routine at home, see, dogs are very smart. Even if they are blind, they are able to navigate very well. The only thing you need to do is have a routine with them. Do things at a specific area so that they get used to navigating their way. Like if you give them food at a certain place, they would know कि मुझे खाना यहीं देते हैं तो मुझे यहीं जाना है. The same is with their
यही
peeing and
मिलेगा.
pooping. They would know कि हाँ मुझे सुसु यहीं करना है या मुझे potty यहीं करना है. So they will know all of
Hmm.
that. And of course, ensuring that you're giving them eye drops so that they don't have any secondary infection going on with their eye. So dogs are very easy to maintain as long as you are promising that you're going to invest that kind of time on such dogs. They do need special care, but as long as you are someone who is dedicated to ensuring that you're going to give some time and being patient with them, disabled or special need dogs are no no different from any other normal dogs. Like we have a dog Pihu, who's now adopted in US, and she does not have two legs, the back legs, and she's crazy. Trust me, she's crazier than a normal dog. So
Hmm.
it's not ki disabled dog hoga to bichara hoga. It's not like that. Dogs can still have a lot of life in them. So these are three four things, three type of disabilities that I spoke about. But you can obviously look at our blog, which
Hmm.
has spoken about disabilities in much more description if somebody really wants to read about it. And the second
Yeah.
question you asked me about medicating dogs. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
never, please never medicate dogs or any animal without a vet's opinion, unless it's a very superficial kind of wound that any lay person would know ki haan theek hai, ye, you can just medicate like this and it will be okay. But for anything else, please take your animals to vets. Do not medicate, because the same medication can have different effect on a younger and an older dog. For example, when dogs have mange, a lot of people say ki, ivermectin de do, ek hafte ivermectin de do, and the dog will be fine. But the same ivermectin can
Hmm.
lead to kidney failure in an older dog if you do not give it in a proper dosage or proper intervals. So please do not self medicate dogs unless you're somebody who's done it for years. And even for years, like for example caw, we've been in operation for 5 years, but we still do not medicate any dogs without having a prescription from the vet. So I would never recommend medicating a dog without taking to a vet.
Yeah. And people generally don't show the sympathy towards disabled dogs and everything. They have a very different attitudes towards them, and they usually kick them
People
instead of
have
helping them
people
out.
have a
So
attitude
it's
towards even normal dogs. Forget about disabled dogs. Even normal Indian dogs, people have a very
yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
bad attitude. So
Different
disabled
attitude
animals
towards,
won't
yeah,
even come
towards
into.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we all should definitely change our attitude. And my last question is, how can students and volunteers like us can contribute in whatever capacity we have, because we want to help all the animals on this planet, and we are bound to it. We are stuck with some things, or maybe aajkal to we are seeing cows, and they're wandering in our colonies, and everybody is hitting them because they're eating their vegetables. And speaking about cats, nobody likes them except few. And dogs mein to chalo, it's okay. So how to how can we as a volunteer student can do it?
See, there are as I say that we humans, we always feel that we are bound with something else. Like when I was going to college and when I was studying, I always thought कि अभी पढ़ना है, फिर उसके बाद ये करना है,
Hmm.
वो करना है. And then you're always thinking that you have other things to do, right? But if this is something you're truly passionate about, you will definitely find time for it. I found time
Hmm.
for it, and I can tell you that you will find time for it. Like I used to think that, so when I participated in Mrs. India, I used to think Kaw will close, you know, पूरी दुनिया बंद हो जाएगी अगर if I don't
Hmm.
look into Kaw. But it did not happen. The work was still going on.
Hmm.
Animals were
Hmm.
still getting rescued. So
Hmm.
we humans have time for everything. It is just our own excuses that kind of stop us from doing anything that we want to do. So as volunteers, the first thing I would say is you can start feeding your community animals. That's the first thing you can do. Never ever let any animal starve in front of your eyes. That's the most inhuman thing you can do. Second
Yeah.
is, if you're interested in getting more into animal welfare, you can start fostering, you can start rescuing. If you cannot do any of these, then you can at least start vaccinating and getting them sterilized, and helping control the population, or at least helping, by vaccinating dogs you're ensuring that they are safe for everyone. It's safe for them, it's safe for the residents also. You're doing a service to everyone there. And third is, of course, like you guys are already doing great by inviting people like me and spreading awareness and doing campaigns
Hmm.
and webinars. So these are, I think, education and awareness is something that is going to go a long way. Like some people are not
Hmm.
going to feed animals, some people are not going to rescue animals, but the biggest thing that we do by making sure that we are educating and aware, spreading awareness about animal rights, is we are making people neutral about them. We are stopping people from at least harming them. That's one of the most important
Hmm.
things. Loving, not loving is secondary for me. If somebody stops hitting an animal, that's good enough for me. At least they are not torturing the animal, or that is
Exactly.
few things that you guys as volunteers can do. And then of course, specifically with core, you can volunteer with us, you can intern with us, and if you're really interested in career opportunities, that is also something that can be explored. So I want people to know that animal welfare is a career option if you guys want to pursue it full time. You cannot have a fancy life like a corporate job, but if it is something that you really want to do, then there are options. There are organizations like us, PETA. They are really doing good work, and they are hiring people full time. So from a volunteer role, if you want to turn it into a full time role, you can even look into that. And the third thing you can do is of course become a vet if you want to do it full time.
Okay. Which a little tough. Oh, but yeah. So, do you have any helpline number or something that we can contact, or anybody want to come into this organization or to get in touch
Yeah,
with it?
so you can write to us on skankan@kannananimalwelfare.org. I will, I think I can probably type it in our chat box.
Yeah, ma'am. Sure. Yeah, ma'am. Sure.
And there's an email ID that you can write to us on, and you can fill our volunteering and interning form. Once you do that, you just have to go through our procedure of getting shortlisted. I think our interning is for minimum 3 months and volunteering is on and off, but minimum 2 months is what we look at. um, yeah, so this is the email ID that you can
Hmm.
write on.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now the platform is open for Q&A. If anyone has a question, please either raise your hand or unmute yourself or simply put them in a chat box. We'll follow each one of them. So volunteers, union members, if you have any questions, please ask.
I see a lot of questions asked. If you want, I can start with them, and
Yeah, yeah,
then
ma'am.
you
Do
can.
you want me to read it or
No, no, I can read it. I'll
yeah, yeah,
I'll do.
sure. Yeah, ma'am, sure.
How to treat aggressive animals, or how to make two dogs friends if one of them is aggressive. Okay, that's a tricky question. It's like me not wanting to be friend and you are forcing me to be friends with someone. Unfortunately, that doesn't work with animals that way. You cannot make them friends. If, for example, two males in a same society may not be friends ever, because they will always have a tendency to kind of rule the territory. It's very common behavior. Uh,
Hmm.
so that is something that you should not try. But yeah, if you can feed them separately, and maybe you just need to be like the alpha yourself and try and tell them that you cannot fight. So I used to have these two dogs who used to fight all the time, because they both wanted to be like the lead in the society. So I started feeding them separately, and they made their own packs later on, so they stopped fighting. But you cannot try and make them friends. That they are not like humans ki yaar tu isse dosti kar le kuch nahi hoga. You cannot do that.
Exactly.
So this question was asked by Rishika. And treating aggressive animals, Rishika, I would not suggest you to do that, because honestly, it needs a lot of skill to handle an animal who's aggressive. So you should always take help of animal ambulance or animal catcher, or call a paravet. You should not do it yourself. How to have more than three animals? How to manage that? I have three cats, but I want to adopt more street cats. Okay, that's good, Harshita.
Oh,
Kudos to you, because I have two cats and they are driving me
uh,
crazy. So,
exactly.
it again, it depends. Like for example, if somebody tells me today to adopt one more dog, I would not be able to, because my middle the dog who's in the middle, she doesn't like any other dogs. So I cannot adopt another dog, just because then I will be traumatizing her. And she's been with me for the last 8 years. So I cannot traumatize a dog who's already in my house and bring another dog and make both lives hell. That doesn't work. So I would say that you have to first judge the behavior of your three cats. If they are indifferent, maybe you should try fostering first. If they are comfortable with your foster, then you can adopt the same cat, transition into a permanent adoption. But I would always suggest that try and fostering, because I tried fostering and that did not go down very well with my second dog. She wanted to kill every dog that came home. So you have to, like my two cats, they will not be comfortable if I have a third cat. One of my cat, he's not medically very well. He has a heart problem. He'll probably go in depression if I have a third cat. So that is something that you will have to decide based on your existing cat's behavior, if they're okay with having a fourth animal in the house. I know you want to adopt, and that's a very sweet thing to do. So start with fostering. I would suggest that if you can foster, then probably you can adopt the same animal once it's adjusted with the three cats you have. Okay, Jannat. The most common disease I've observed in dogs so far is that a hole occurring, and the solution I heard is to use petrol or meds. Okay, so the hole is basically maggots, a maggot wound. Maggots generally create a hole in dog's body. Please do not use petrol. Please do not use any such substance which can be very, very harmful to the dogs and can lead to some freak accident that you and I have not even imagined. For maggots, generally, the first thing that you should do is again go to the vet, get it properly cleaned. There are different kind of medicines. I don't want to take their name because I don't want people to start using them without
Yeah.
consulting a vet. So please
Yeah.
go to a vet if you see, because maggots, if not treated on time, can become very big and can eat almost half of the animal if it remains untreated. So, and please guys, do not use tarpon oil or petrol or anything that people commonly just say ki, just pour it into the animal. Imagine if the dog is near some fire, it will just catch fire if you've poured petrol on the wound. So please do not do things like this. Um, how to avoid tumors in animals? So there can be various type of tumors. The general type of tumors that you will find is vaginal. That can be avoided if the animal is sterilized. Okay, but any external tumors, that's genetic, that you can do nothing about it. So the only way, if it happens, then they need to be operated. There's nothing you can do about it. But penile tumors and vaginal tumors in dogs can be avoided if they are sterilized on time. That will reduce the chances of that happening. And
Ma'am, one
I
question for
think I have
Shrishti.
cats, angels in disguise, as they sleep with me. They are like my friends, they live. That's very sweet,
Yeah.
Harshita. My cats used to be the same, but they suddenly decided to just not like me for some reason. I think my mom started feeding them more than I used to do, so they hate me now. So
And also,
I,
cats are liquids in general. They can go anywhere they want with
yeah,
their slim body and
they for
everything.
them, if they start liking someone, they will just like that person for no reason. Like you will not
Yeah,
even know why they don't
exactly.
like you anymore.
Yeah.
I have witnessed that my street is more aggressive toward other dogs, I believe. Have you observed the same? Rishika, are you saying dogs or you're saying humans? It's dogs, right?
Dogs, it's dogs, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so it could just be because they are territorial in nature, and if it's a male dog, they have a tendency to be aggressive to other dogs just to maintain their leadership in the pack. So that can happen, yes. It can happen, but it's not something that I've observed a lot, because in my pack we had two male dogs and three female dogs, and they were generally very nice to each other except for the two male dogs. So it's not a general trait, but I would say that it could happen if he is a alpha male dog who's trying to lead the pack. How to travel with dogs? You can travel by air, by train, and by your own car also. But air travel is only possible by air, India,
Yeah, because
and it is a very expensive way of traveling. By train you can travel, but you just have to make arrangements in advance. But if somebody wants to know the whole procedure, they can write an email to me, and I'll be happy to advise on how to travel with your dogs or cats. uh,
Ma'am, by Pooja, how will we make our career in animal welfaring? By Pooja Alawat.
you make a career like me, like you start like rescuing animals, and then it really depends what you want to do. You want to work for organizations, or you want to start your own organization. I would have loved to work for another organization, but I did not find the right opportunities for me. But as I said, that now with a lot of good organizations and organizations which are run by younger people, there are a lot more opportunities, and it is no more like you will have some important role to play in the organization. So you can apply with PETA, you can apply with Human Society, you can apply with CORE if CORE has the right opportunity. There are many other organizations who are hiring, so that's how you can make a career in animal welfare. There's one more question. Recently, my friend's dog died of canine distemper, and the vet told her even if the dog would have survived the disease, he would have paralyzed for life. So I want to ask. So, guys,
Yes, I
generally,
have a
distemper
witness
is
firsthand.
extremely fatal in nature, and it's rarely it's treatable. But even if a dog recovers from canine distemper, what can happen is that they may have neurological signs for life, and yes, they can have paralysis also, or they may have a relapse of distemper. It's very common. It's very common because distemper is a very bad disease for dogs to happen. So there's nothing much you can do. Honestly, it's only treatment is also, there is no set treatment for distemper. It's always what supportive treatment that you can give to an animal to recover from distemper. But all the three things can happen to a dog. It can have neurological signs, it can have paralysis later, or it can even have a relapse of distemper. So yeah, all the three things are possible, but 99% of the dogs will die because of distemper.
Now, next question by Jagriti Sharma
Guys,
again.
just 1 second.
Mm.
Sorry, guys. In our street, all the dogs bark and fight with each other at night. How to treat that? Okay. Uh, there's no treatment to dogs fighting and barking, but generally the reason for their fighting or barking is that either they could be hungry, or they may not be well. If it's unusual, if there is unusual barking, or if there's unusual howling, it could be because of two. But again, dogs are guards by nature, so howling and barking is their way of protecting their territory. That is not something that you can treat. It's a behavior, it's a nature. So there's nothing you can do to treat, but by ensuring that you're feeding them on time and they are medically okay, you can ensure that it is not bad, or it's not very uh, it's not extreme to a nature where people start having a problem with the dog.
Mhm. Yeah. Um,
um,
I
I
think there
give
is
food
one
to almost
experience.
every dog of my street, and one day one of them bite me. Okay, Harshita, what did you do? Can you tell me what led to that bite?
Harshita, can you please unmute yourself?
Is Harshita there?
I think, ma'am, she's not comfortable or
Or
something.
you're shy? Are you
Harshita, if
shy,
you can
Harshita?
unmute yourself,
No.
please go ahead.
Okay. Generally, I do not know what led to the dog biting you. There must be some trigger, or you might have interrupted his eating, or it could also be that some dogs can behave in a certain way. As I say, the dogs are unpredictable. They are on street. They may have triggers to certain hand movements, or they may be insecure of some movements. So it may have happened because of that. But unless you tell me exactly what happened, I cannot tell you what may have triggered it. So, okay, I have three street rescue dogs and take care of many outside ones. I have always faced issues from neighbors and other cruel people who beat them or get them dislocated despite them being quite well behaved. How to deal with that? Okay, so guys, know that nobody can stop you from taking care of dogs or animals. It's a constitutional duty. Okay, and there are there are certain laws which prohibit people from uh, creating ruckus because you're taking care of dogs. You should know your rights. I It's a long topic. I cannot discuss it right now, but there's a video which is coming which you can watch in couple of days, which will talk about your rights as an animal feeder. You do not need to be scared of anybody, but at the same time, try. I always say that your act of kindness should not become a discomfort for others. Don't start feeding dogs in front of people's house. Don't create don't litter your society when you're feeding. You cannot leave papers and plates and food everywhere when you're feeding. So these, if you
Mhm.
take care of these things, and if you start feeding dogs a little away from residents houses, there'll be less fights. Because see, if you're feeding in front of somebody's house and the dog starts guarding that place, they will start biting or barking at everyone who crosses that place. So we have to be mindful as well. There's a video which I've made which will be out in couple of days. It's a 4 5 minute video, so it's a long topic to discuss. But once you watch that video, you will get a lot of idea on how you can, create like a neutral zone for you to feed and to take care of the animals on the street.
Ma'am Harshita has something to say. She said
Yes,
that I
Harshita.
did nothing as usual. I was giving them food. Suddenly, the male dog father bit me. They usually don't act this way. Anyway, how we can protect ourselves and give them food?
So, if you're somebody who's regularly feeding, please get yourself vaccinated against rabies. I would say that that's the first thing to do because, as I said, dogs on street can have unpredictable behavior. If especially like mothers, I remember the dog who was on my street. She was a female dog, and when she had kids, she was suddenly very possessive of the kids, and she would growl at me. She was only trying to protect her kids. So the moment I gave food to the kids, she suddenly snapped at me because she probably felt that I'm going to harm her kids. So please get yourself vaccinated if you're feeding regularly because things like this can happen and one should be very careful. Like if you've there is I cannot really say why he bit you because it could just be a personality issue. It could just be something, could be a hand movement, or could be anything that may have made him feel insecure or may have made him feel that you're going to do something to him that may have triggered that behavior.
Mm.
Um, Ishan, okay, Ishan has a question. Yes, Ishan, that's a very good question because it's correct that if you use cardboard or anything, they get wet and they do not last long. Interestingly, a couple of days back, there was somebody who started making shelter for dogs with a barrel, like a plastic barrel, big barrels. So they started creating hole and they started putting beds inside the barrels
Mm.
because barrel is plastic. It does not, like, nothing happens to it even if it's raining or if it's too hot. So I think unfortunately we have to use material which is of plastic to ensure that it does not go bad. But uh, I do not think there is any other option in terms of if you talk about sustainability in the longer run. Cardboards do not last long. I know that. I've done that myself, and dogs even chew it and destroy it themselves. So I think barrels are a good idea if you can
Yeah.
find big barrels, or even if you can find tires, big tires. You can make small beds out of it. There's a lot of DIY that you can find on internet and do that. Powders. Yes, there is Himalayas tick and flea powder. There's Negasun powder. There are a couple of powders that you can use. If you want a list that we use, you can write to us and I can send you the list of powders that you can use or medicines that you can use for ticks. Um, Priyanshi, Priyanshi, what was the breed of your dog? If you could mention that. Okay, Indian mixed breed.
Indian
And
mixed
what
breed, she said.
and
Very
what kind of
tiny.
humor he had? Like, because okay, did you? I'm not
Benign
sure if
tumor.
you guys did a biopsy or the doctor just said it's a benign tumor without doing a biopsy. Because a lot of times, tumors which are appearing physically on the body can be cancerous. We would only know that if we have done a biopsy on them. I'm not sure whether your doctor did that or not, and I don't even know
They did, ma'am.
they did. Um,
Mm.
it was a tumor on the leg of the dog.
Yes, ma'am. Near the
Okay.
leg.
It sounds very strange. It could just be wrong medication and wrong operation then. It cannot be anything else. Either they had given too many steroids, or I'm not sure what they have given, because unless I know the process, I cannot tell you. Paralysis can happen in dogs if strong medications are given or strong steroids are given. It could happen. But I'm really unsure in your case what medications were given. If you could share later on with me privately, maybe I could shed some light on what exactly could have gone wrong. Was some other. Yeah, it could happen. I know what you're saying. Sometimes doctors can do wrong treatments, and it can happen. I'm really sorry that it happened with you, but I will not be able to comment unless I know exactly what steps were taken and what exactly was done, what medications were given. That's good, Preet. That's a very smart thing to do. Trust me, I have a dog like that. My second dog, Whiskey, she has triggers to things like she doesn't like my niece. So we have a separate place. We have rented another place because she cannot tolerate my niece. Because she feels that my niece is getting more importance than she is. So we had to rent a separate place because that's a trigger. So every dog has a trigger, and I'm. It's not even a joke. It's very serious that dogs can have emotional triggers to think, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
smart. Everybody told me abandon her. तुम्हारी भतीजी है, तुम उसको अलग घर में रख रहे हो, कुत्ते को abandon कर दो. But Whiskey came into my life much earlier than Nirvi came, and I exactly knew what was triggering. Like, she has triggers to, like, if you suddenly move your hand, she will feel that you're probably going to hit her. Then she'll
Mm-hmm.
suddenly come and snap at you, like not at me, but if it is a stranger. So it's a very smart thing to observe. Ensure that you're not doing anything which can trigger their behavior. So you have done a great thing by not abandoning your dog. Nandini, you're very, very lucky to have a dog who's never bitten you. I have a dog who's 10 years old, Bubbles. She's never bitten anyone. She cannot bite anyone, I think. She's like a cow. She doesn't do anything. So as I said, every dog has different behavior, and
Yeah.
you're very lucky to have a good dog. My dog hates rain. Yeah, a lot of dogs don't like rain. They don't like water. A lot of dogs do not want to go and pee and poop outside when it's raining. So it's a very normal behavior. Some people like you and me may not like rain. And, like when it's raining, a lot of us become very lazy. So it's the same with dogs. They become very gloomy and moody and lazy. So it's nothing strange. It's very normal behavior.
They just look outside the window, just the droplets
Yeah, I mean it's
falling and
it's like just
everything.
not
Yeah.
liking a certain weather. It's just like that.
Yeah.
Aditi, I'm sorry, I did not see your question. So yes, unfortunately, it happens that even if there is a very serious case, the police may refuse to help you. But you have to understand that we are a country of billions, and animal rights is still very secondary for anybody. So when you go to a police and he's working on a rape case or some big case, he will think कि अरे यार ये क्या कुत्ते का केस लेके आ गए. It's a very general reaction to it, and I understand your frustration. It has happened to me a couple of times. I have gone to police and police is like कि मैडम यहाँ पे रेप हो रहा है, यहाँ पे चोरी हो रही है, यहाँ पे मर्डर हो रहे हैं और आपको कुत्ते की पड़ी है. It is very very common, but If something is very serious and the police is not cooperating, please write to Mrs. Menka Gandhi. She's very prompt. She would always respond and help you with that. And I can provide the email ID to you guys, and you can start writing to her also directly. The police will act when she writes to them.
Um, any more questions, guys?
Diya Bedi, when I talk my dog for a walk, he barks at everyone who crosses by. How old is your dog, Diya?
3.
Okay, so unfortunately, now that's a set behavior. It can happen. You should have worked on it while he was a kid. It happens. Like a lot of dogs have triggers to other dogs or anything which is walking. You know, so that's basically a leash. We call it leash reactivity. So dog will react to anyone who passes when they are on leash, and they are going. So that could be just because he feels that he needs to protect you, or he needs to protect himself, or he needs to uh, kind of show that I'm not lesser, or he's just showing an alpha behavior. But because he's 3 years old, this is something which will be very difficult to work on. But if you're really interested, you can still hire a trainer or behaviorist and probably start taking your dog to some pack walks or some social gatherings with other dogs so that the behavior becomes better.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I mean, other than this session, please feel free to reach out to us, ask any questions if you want to. You can write an email or send a message on our Instagram, and we'll be ready to help or suggest anything that needs to be done. Um, Okay. So Harshita, everybody has a very different opinion on cats. Like for example, my cats, they are indoor cats. I have never allowed them to go out because I would go crazy if my cat does not come back. So, but people still debate, ki cats are free being and they should be allowed to go out. I have a very different opinion on that. If they are pet cats, they need to be inside the house. They cannot be outdoor cats because unfortunately, India is not as safe as other countries. You can have stupid freak accidents. You have so many dogs outside on the street. Somebody may just attack your cat. So, I think you should just find ways to have more mental stimulation inside the house, play with them, do activities, make tunnels, or do things. And please don't like, it doesn't matter. Cats may not play after a certain age. If they're older, they may not play. Like my cats used to be much more active when they were younger. Now they are 5 years old, they have become very lazy. But indoor and outdoor cat is something that is very debatable, depends on person's preference. I would not want my cats to go out. They are pure indoor cats. um, mm, Poco X2, I don't know what's your name, sorry. It comes up as Poco X2. No, nobody's getting offended, Ishika. Of course, you can take, if your cats are leash trained, yes, you can take them on walk, but generally it's very difficult to leash train a cat. So, and parks and shelters, again, it depends. Like if your cat is trained to walk on leash or trained to. The problem with cats is they will not listen to you if they are without a leash. So cats are a little tricky, but dogs, of course, you can take out and do whatever you want. So Harshita, that is something. Playing is something that I'm very surprised at why your 6 months old cat is not playing. I would suggest that you go to a vet and please get her checked if there's nothing medically wrong with the cat in terms of why she's low and why they are lazy. Like for example, my cat, 3 months back, he suddenly stopped being active, and we didn't know what happened. And then we took him for an X-ray, and we realized that he had so much stool in his stomach for the last 5 days. He didn't poop like for 5 days, and it all got accumulated in his stomach, and that's why he was lazy. So sometimes it could be health reasons, and sometimes it could just be nature, that your cat just wants to chill and doesn't want to do anything. So then don't get so worried about it. For cats, there comes backpacks in which we can carry them. Are they safe for them? I mean, uh, it's again, it's habit. A lot of people use those backpacks, and you can use the one which has ample, holes and things for ventilation. My cats used to go in those soft cage bags, so they used to be fine, but they were used to it from the time they were kids. So it will depend on how you train them and how comfortable they are being into those bags. Yeah, Nandini, that's very common that my dog Bubble, she doesn't play. She doesn't want to move her finger unless it's food. So it's very natural behavior. My Dee, she collected funds and had many of the female dogs near her locality and got them spayed. Of course, she did the right thing because more unsterilized dogs means more litters on the street, and more litters means more dogs dying because of accidents. So in our scenario, of course, she did the right thing, Preet. In fact, she did the smartest thing and the most kindest thing to the animals. Very good, Harshita. You should always get your animals paid. Please read the blog on our website about the benefits of taking animals.
मैं पूछती हूँ बता
Guys,
ना कुछ पूछना कुत्ते से रिलेटेड
guys,
होते क्यों है
please unmute yourself.
guys please keep yourself muted ना मारेगा मेरे
Guys, please mute yourself. Please maintain decorum. Yeah. Sorry, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah, so that happens. Getting muted also corrects Snigdha. It helps a lot. They will not get into fights. If a male dog is on heat and there are unsterilized female dogs, there is high chances of the male dogs getting into a fight. And generally, there will be territorial issues also if they are not spayed or neutered. Some male dogs force themselves on female dogs. That's a very natural behavior. But if they are sterilized, that would not happen. But still, there may be humping and all, but that's very natural behavior. It's like, लड़के लड़कियों को line मारते हैं, right? You cannot do anything about it. So it's the same with dogs. If we keep different gender dogs, that would be pretty easy. Yeah, I agree with that. That sometimes, if you have a male dog, he may not like another male dog coming into your house. He may be more friendly with a female dog. Mm. Is humping a healthy sign for young? Humping, it's not healthy. It's a natural thing. Is your dog sterilized, Priyanshi? If not, then yes, he would hump you if he gets into the heat cycle, or he if he's into his heat mode, then yes, he will hump you. But some dogs just do it. I mean, even if they're sterilized, they will still do it. So if he's not sterilized, he is going to hump you. Yeah, so your dog is not sterilized, right? So he that's why he humps you. Oh yeah, golden retrievers are little crazy dogs, super energetic when they're young. No, so 5 months is very young age. You must always sterilize your dogs after their first heat cycle is over. So minimum 8 to 9 months, I would say. 5 months is like very young. Yes, sterilization is safe. You just need to go to a good doctor and ensure that you're using the safest way to sterilize your dogs. Any other question, guys? And Preet, if you any day you want any help, please message us. We'll be able to suggest you some dogs, some not some dogs, sorry, some doctors to sterilize your pets if you want. It will completely depend on the budget you have. There are laparoscopic surgeries also, which have like very little surgical intervention. There's very little cuts in the body of the pet. So you can even go for that, but that's expensive. But if you want to go for normal surgeries, I can suggest you some vets. So we can definitely help you with that.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this high informative session. You have made a strikingly valid and good point, and that was very common, and everybody can do that in their homes, outside, everywhere. So thank you so much, ma'am, once again. If you have any last words that you want to address or something.
I just want to thank you guys. I told that I feel extremely proud that you guys make that effort. I really did not know what animal welfare was. Nobody spoke about it. And I feel, as I said, I feel proud and I feel emotional at the same time that you guys are young and so compassionate. That's what is needed.
Mm.
So after this session, do not forget about animal love. Please stay connected with us. Anybody wants to volunteer, intern, work, please reach out to us. If we have something, we will definitely love to work with you guys and keep spreading awareness, keep educating people. And thank you so much again for inviting me. It was very, very lovely interacting with you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you, all the volunteers, for your active participation. Volunteers, for your attendance, please fill the form given in chat box, and there you'll get the attendance marked. Once again, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you, ma'am.